Hello, everybody. What's going on, y'all? It's your girl, Amanda, and we are back with another episode of Thompson and Stuff. So, this is like my third attempt of recording this episode. Y'all want to know what's going on top of the other stress I got going? Well, it's not stress, but it's small stuff. Can't sweat the small stuff. I will record my other podcast on voice recorder on my laptop, my little laptop. Well, I guess apparently, I got no storage on my little laptop, so I couldn't use voice recorder to record the episode. So I was like halfway through this episode. I was like probably 30 minutes in, and the stinking thing said, "Oh, no storage," and stopped the whole recording. And I was talking about the Diddy documentary, so we're gonna get into that. But so this is my third attempt. I'm back using Riverside, so I guess now I gotta use Riverside again. So yeah. Another small stress I'm worried about is my car. So y'all know it's cold outside. A low tire pressure season. And don't y'all judge me. I was riding around. But to me it wasn't like serious. Like my tire wasn't like at 10 or anything. It was like in the high 20s, like 26, 27, 28. So like when I would get in my car, I start my car up. PSI is at like 26, but drive around a little bit, it's up to 28, but all my other tires are at 30. So yes, it's small, and I'm gonna get it taken care of next week, or not next week, tomorrow. I'm gonna go get some hair in it tomorrow. So it's small, something small. So we just finished Thanksgiving. I had a great Thanksgiving. So one thing I really like about holidays now is to me, holidays is not about like, it's not about spending money or, buying gifts and all that stuff. I like to do that part, and I like to fellowship and all that. Well, yeah, to me, it's about fellowshipping with your friends and your family and doing activities with them. Growing up, I always spent holidays with my mother's side of the family. Go to my grandmother's house, deal with my mother's cousins, mother's sisters, brothers, all that stuff. Well, sisters, whatever. But I never spent a lot of holidays with my dad's side of the family. The invitations, I guess it started when I was like in college or whatever, because my aunt lives like not far from me at all. So she would start inviting me over for Thanksgiving and stuff. And it honestly, it's become like kind of a tradition in a way. Like she started the tradition of me spending the holidays with her and my dad's side of the family. It's a cool tradition. I love it. I love spending time with my family on my dad's side. Now, I don't spend holidays with my dad, just my aunts, his sisters and stuff. And that's like kind of the hurtful thing about it, but something that, I really can't dwell on too much. Because there's this quote, I was on Twitter, and they said, you go to therapy to get answers, but you leave with more questions. Yeah. So I try not to dwell on it because I get very sad about it, but that's neither here nor there. But I really enjoyed my Thanksgiving, spent it with both sides of the family, ate a lot of food, a lot of laughter, a lot of pictures, music, dancing, just all that good stuff. I really enjoyed. But Christmas is coming up, so I guess like in a way it's going to be part 2 of that, part 2 of a lot of food, part 2 of a lot of dancing, part 2 of a lot of family. But I will not do the preparation I did for Thanksgiving that I'm going to do for Christmas. That's just a no-go. So y'all know I'm back in the gym, right? And my gym kind of upgraded since I've been gone. Like I stopped going for like a month. I didn't gain a lot of weight or anything. I just stopped going because I just couldn't afford to pay for it. But I leave, they go and they get upgraded. So they put in these, they're not Pelotons exactly. They're like Pelotons. They're spin bikes. So my gym puts in these spin bikes, right? And you have like the screen in front of you, and you can pretend like you are biking through like, Dominican Republic or something. So I have that. I tried it out the first day. It was cool. I really enjoyed it. So the week before Thanksgiving, I said, I'm going to prepare. I'm going to be eating all this food and all that stuff. I'm going to be prepared. So I did the Matrix spin bike twice. Okay. Did it twice. I felt great. Wednesday. So if you go to Planet Fitness and you know that Planet Fitness, they do their holiday hours a little funny the day before a major holiday. So I don't go to the gym and get in the middle of that. I woke up Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. I'm in so much pain. My side to where like my under boob is to like maybe my stomach and my shoulder was in so much pain. I couldn't laugh without saying ouch. I couldn't sneeze. It's like, y'all know, because I was walking around like I sounded so stopped up. I was not sick. I just could not sneeze and release it. So you know how like you inhale to start, to start the sneeze. All right? So you inhale, but I chew. Me, I inhaled, and then my side caught on with the pain, and it just canceled. It canceled my sneeze. So I'm like, oh my God. And I tried for days, like, and it just stopped it. So I was in actual pain for like 2 days. And then I started taking a leave. I took 2 leaves a day. And I feel much better. I actually had 2 sneezes since then. Now they hurt. They hurt. But I've had sneezes. So it was from just, working out a lot. But I think I'm ready to go back to the gym. I think I'm going to go tomorrow just to start something like probably walk like the treadmill or something and do like a little weights, maybe do a regular bike, not the spin bike. I'm not ready to get back on the spin bike because that's what made me be in pain and not be able to sneeze and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm ready to do that. People have been asking me where's the Mandy's entertainment reviews videos. I decided to not do any episodes until the new year, only because I have so much stuff to watch that I really want to do a video for. And I really, really want to make sure a lot of content comes out. I look back at some of the old stuff and I put out a lot of great videos. I think the one that did really, really well, the top 2, I believe, was The Fall of Diddy and Stax Records. So I really, really want to get back to the status of, making the next videos I put out of that status and making my followers grow and all that stuff. But it'll be still on YouTube and stuff. You can still listen on your favorite platforms and all that good stuff. So yeah. But let's get into these stories. There's a lot of stories. And since I'm back on Riverside, I don't have a lot of like storage. I don't know what they did. I think they probably cleared everything out from like a couple years ago. Because I've been using my voice recorder on my laptop. I used like Riverside a couple months ago and I got so frustrated. I'm like, I don't like this. But now I really don't have a choice. So thank you, Riverside. So let's get into what everybody's been talking about, like every day, like since Thursday, since the documentary came out, everybody's been talking about Diddy. Now I swear, y'all, after Diddy went to jail, got sentenced to jail, he went away to Fort Dix. I thought, hey, We ain't gonna hear from Diddy no more. We're done. We're gonna hear from him in 4 years when we walk out 4 dicks. Reunite with his family, probably live a low-key life. What I didn't know, I guess now the media is going to be watching his every move for the next 4 years or whatever. Because there was a rumor, I think this is a rumor, that Diddy was bragging that he was going to get a pardon from Trump. And that is like the stupidest thing I heard, because we turn on the news and hear on the radio and podcasts talk about it all day long, is how Trump ain't really doing nothing for the black community. He don't give a F about us, you know? So if he don't give a F about us, he ain't gonna give a F about Puff Daddy. He's not gonna pardon Puff Daddy. He's too busy destroying the economy in the United States of America. It is what he can't get no pardon. He gonna send the 4 dicks for a minute. He gonna send 4 dicks for a minute. He ain't getting no pardon. And for him to be bragging to other inmates, that's just so selfish. Because I bet those other inmates, and I know they probably did some heinous crimes, they probably looking at him like, dang, that's not fair. I want to be pardoned by Trump too. Like, it's just not fair to other people. Like, you know. And then there's like that video of him walking around 4 dicks, smiling at people and being nice and shaking hands. I don't know if it's an act or he's legit being nice to people because he's sober and ain't no drugs in jail. But I just feel like when I saw those videos of him, it just don't seem genuine. And he's so gray. Y'all, you see how gray he is? That's how much Beijing he was using when he was out in the civilian world. Like, my God, he looked like when I first saw his mugshot, I thought about Richard Pryor's character in Which Way Is Up. I've never seen that movie, but I've seen like clips of it. And he looked just like the grandfather character Richard Pryor played on Which Way Is Up. Like, he is so great. But then I gotta remember, Diddy's gotta be almost 60. He was born in 69. He's a year older than DJ Quick. DJ Quick is like 55. He'll be 56 in January. So yeah, he's like 56 now, and he'll be 57 whatever his birthday is, because I don't care that much. But yeah, but he is gray, honey. And I have a question. I have a lot of questions when it comes to this whole Diddy thing. So if you watch on YouTube or however, feel free to answer it, because I seriously don't know. So so we get the mugshot from Fort Dix, right? Was there another mugshot when he was at that jail in Brooklyn? Or is that the only one we're going to get and see? Pull up on the internet for years to come. So there's no other, like, mugshot. I never even seen R. Kelly's mugshot. That's insane, too. Isn't that insane? Like, where is R. Kelly's mugshot? So many questions. But y'all know Diddy in there, he ain't following no rules because he got in trouble like 3 times. I know one of them, he gets caught drinking jailhouse hooch. He does know that jailhouse hooch is toilet water, right? He in there drinking toilet water. Ew, that's nasty. Ugh, gross. I know what y'all gonna ask. Did you see the documentary? I did see the documentary. I saw all 4 parts. Here's the thing. And I know I'm getting old because I'm doing this. I started the documentary Friday night. I started it at 11 at night. And I, quote unquote, finished it at 3 a.m. So what happened, I got to part 4. I got to the last 30 minutes. Now, Netflix, y'all know Netflix got ads and stuff. So Netflix had like a 70-second ad. So I said, okay, after these 70 seconds, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to finish this, right? I slept through the 70 seconds. I slept through the last 15 minutes. So I had to wait till like the next day to actually go back and watch the last 15 minutes. It was basically information we already knew. we also got to keep in mind, this was produced by 50 Cent. So, his saying, if they go low, we go lower. But in 50 Cent's case, if they go low, we going way past hell. Honestly, it was a good documentary, well produced, very, I wouldn't say informational, because if you're a hip hop person, if you follow hip hop and you follow like stuff like this, a lot of it was information that we knew, but there was like little pockets of new information we didn't know. You know what I mean? It was a 4-part, probably like an hour, 45 minutes to an hour per episode. We got to see people who work behind the scenes at Bad Boy, assistants, all that stuff. I did take some notes. I did not really want to do a Thompson or Mandy's Entertainment reviews on this episode because I already did the Fall of Diddy. And y'all would probably look at me and be like, well, dang, girl, all you want to do is just, rip Diddy a new one. Honestly, I do sometimes because of the things he did, but I didn't want to do that to y'all. So I do have some notes. They're going to be all over the place, whatever. So I want to start. They said there was a point in time that Diddy did not like drugs or alcohol. And I believe it, because if you watch like his old interviews, Diddy was like, it was probably an act too. I'm not saying he was really like this, but it's probably an act. He played like the nice, calm, he gave off shy guy. But then, the story was like, he cut himself and he had to get stitches and they prescribed him Percocet or whatever. And that's what kind of ruined him. And that was in 1996. But there was like other interviews and stuff I saw him where he still had that nice, gave off shy guy. So I think during that time, that was when it was really an act. And he was trying to suppress that, that inner evil man in him. So, yeah, I didn't know there was a point like he did not like drugs or alcohol, because if you get like deeper into the documentary where he was recording that album, the last album, Love album, like he was talking into the camera and it's like the lights are on but nobody's home. You know what I mean? Like it looked really scary to look at. Like I did not recognize that guy. That was not the same Diddy that I would see like the act. Like if you remember like old episodes of him being on like 106 in Park or something, he being goofy and silly, like that wasn't that Diddy. That was crazy Diddy. You know what I mean? He screwed Kirk because he threatened him to sign his 25% over to Diddy so he can 100% own Bad Boy Records. And also, I still want to know, with Diddy in jail, what the heck is going on with Bad Boy Records? Now, let's make a connection. Diddy don't really own Bad Boy because, people could come after him because of what happened with the community college incident where 9 people died and like 30 people were injured. So I guess because he didn't want nobody to take nothing from him, he signed 25% to Kurt Burrows, who co-founded Bad Boy Records, and 75% is to his mother, Janice Combs. So I guess that's in a way, 1, to protect himself, and 2, to financially take care of Janice because she's 85 years old. She's too up there in age to go back to work or whatever. And also, I guess that was also pays for her lifestyle because Janice Combs is 85 years old. This lady looked at least 60. Like, she's got plastic surgery, obviously. She wears these wigs. She's got these clothes. Like, that, I think that's what take care of her in a way. Let's see. Kirk Burrows. So, let's start here. So, Mark Curry was in the documentary. Mark Curry was a rapper on Bad Boys for Life, that old song. If you remember the video of them terrorizing the neighborhood, and he was a rapper on there. And somebody asked him, what was basically Diddy's skill to music, and he said he sucks. He didn't hide it. He said he sucked. But Kirk Burrows said one thing that kind of stood out to me. Diddy does suck. I will say that. He does suck. But there's just one thing Diddy can do that, to me, not everybody have as this quote unquote gift. Kirk Burrows said that Diddy can take an R&B song lyrics and put it to a hip hop beat and make a hit. For example, Son of Gun remix. I want to say Son of Gun remix by Janet Jackson and Come and Talk to Me, Jodeci. The remix. That is tough. Like, I guess because I'm not in music, I'm only into like publishing and podcasting. But if I were to do that, regular old me, if I were to take an R&B song and put it with a hip hop beat, I would probably put like Mariah the Scientist to one of these kitchen table made beats. Like something like that does seem kind of difficult to me. So I think that's the only skill Diddy has in this music thing. I don't know about all that rapping and stuff. But some of them raps, I'd be sitting there wondering he could not have wrote this. Who wrote this? Well, some of it was Mark Curry, because he told the story of how he wrote, there's that song he did for the Godzilla movie back in 1998. He talked about how when he wrote it and Diddy started reciting the lyrics in the mic and it sounded like Kermit the Frog. But yeah, something like that, that's not easy to everybody. So I give him that. That's all I'm giving him. I ain't giving him nothing else. I'll Be Sure was in the documentary. Wild. The biological father to your adopted son. So you know Diddy did some mess. And I'll Be Sure's been very vocal for years. Even after Kim passed away. Like, he was very, very vocal. No mention of Kim's death. No mention of what happened. No mention. I mean, even though, like, sorry, I have like ingestion. No mention of Kim's death. No mention of, if she was like very sick days before. Like, they mentioned like Biggie's time days before, and they mentioned Tupac's time before he passed away with the quad studio shooting, but they did not mention like anything about Kim's death. They just showed pictures of her and the dynamic of their relationship. That's it. Because Kim Porter, she passed away of lobar pneumonia. I don't know what that is really, but I don't think there was any sign. I mean, I've never heard anybody say that there were any signs or there were signs of her being sick or anything. It was just like you log into, TMZ one day and it says Kim Porter is dead, and then there's the news outside her house and all that stuff. I never heard of her or anything of her being sick, in my opinion. So they didn't talk about it either in the documentary, so that's suspicious. Justin Combs should not be trusted. I repeat, Justin Combs should not be trusted. What really set that radar off for me is because Justin Combs was in that hotel room in New York with his father, taking everything that his father was saying, everything he was saying about Don Richard, everything. When he was on the phone with Kalina, on the phone, he was in the bathroom with him, not doing nothing weird, but they were just standing in the bathroom, and Diddy had Kalina on the phone and blah blah blah. Justin Combs should not be trusted at all. Another problem I had was the jurors. 2 jurors was in the documentary. One of them was an older man, and he said he's not a fan of music. He, don't understand. He said that he saw 2 people in love in a relationship. Honestly, the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Yes, you could be in a relationship, but sometimes you put that facade on for everybody else or the public to play them in a way to show them that everything is fine, but it's really not. But you're going to see that everything is fine, but when we go home, it's not going to be fine. You know what I mean? And he said that he saw a couple in love. Dumbest thing ever. Then there was another young lady. I don't know her real name. They called them juror number 16 something, whatever. They didn't say their real names. They just said their juror and their number. She People were saying like she was just a fan and she didn't want to watch Diddy go down. That's a terrible juror to have. That's a terrible juror to have. Now I know, like when did they do? They did the verdict, I think back in July, I want to say. And when they said that he was not guilty of like the big charges, I said, what the heck is going on here? Why is he not guilty of the big charges that will put him in jail for life? You know what I mean? It turns out they just had a bad juror selection in a way. So that that really answered my question when I saw and heard their opinions. Aubrey O'Day was in the documentary. She kept her foot on his neck, but she actually shared more. She shared emails of him, just being weird, being explicit with him. As a kid, I used to run home and rush home to watch Making the Band, right? Because I was like in 7th, 8th grade when Danny D came out. And that Welcome to the Dollhouse, I never cared, honestly, for their first album. But when Welcome to the Dollhouse came out, that was a big deal. And then also, I guess because I paid attention a little more to their second season, like, they put a lot of promotion and stuff to it. That's what made, like, people buy the album. That's why the album's so popular. I used to rush home to watch Making the Band, and I remember rushing home to watch Aubrey and Andrea, I think Shannon did too, get fired on national TV. And then, as a 13, 14, 15-year-old, well, maybe 12, 13, 14-year-old girl, I'm just like bummed. Like, oh my God, you just broke up Danny again. Why did you do that? And now I learned that he broke up Danny Kane because Aubrey wouldn't do nothing strange with him. That's how I'm putting it in a way. So, yeah, I'm like, dang, that explains so much why. And it was like on TV when I was a kid, it was with no explanation. And he was just like, you're fired. Like, basically, you're out the group. And don't you just hate when things just make sense to you when you get older? But it looks so like vague when you're a kid. Yeah, it's insane. I wonder if Andre Harrell knew anything. And the reason why that question will never be answered, Andre Harrell died like 4 years ago. Let me see. I know it was during the pandemic. Andre Harrell died in 2020, May 7th. So he died of congestive heart failure in 2020. So we'll never get any question or get any answers from Andre Harrell. We won't. So, but I do wonder, like, did he know any type of behavior that Diddy was doing even after he interned for him? I do blame the influence of Janice Combs. They did reveal, like, Janice always had a Cadillac. She would, drive places with her, Diddy, baby Diddy, and Tim Patterson. And what also shocked me was that Tim was along for the ride, I guess because back in the day, like, community was more common. Nowadays, like, my generation, they're like, I'm not letting my child go with such and so because of this and that. But it was, I guess, community was so common back then when they were kids. So Janice would take Tim and Diddy and they would ride along, and they lived in Mount Vernon, but she would take them to Harlem and leave the car running and leave them in there. So, things were a little different back then. Where else? Yeah, Kirk Burroughs said he didn't know nothing music, but again, hey, you can take a beat, a R&B lyric, put on a hip hop beat. To me, that is talent, because not everybody can do that. He didn't want to help Kalena, and I don't know if it was covered in that why Kalena lost custody of her kids. I think she was probably going through a divorce or something. But he didn't want to help Kalena. But when he needed help, he called Kalena to help him. That, and she obliged. That didn't make sense because this is your children. This is your children, and you need help getting your children back. And you ask this man for help, but he can't help you, but you won't go and help. In a way, that's like empath work, but at the same time, it's like, but that man didn't do nothing to help get your kids back. And then she defended. I remember she, put out a statement and defended him, but now you're in the documentary. That's so weird. That is so weird. And then Babs from the band. Now, I don't really remember the band very good. But Babs had the record contract, and she took it to her lawyer, and the lawyer said, you're going to have fame, but you're not going to have fortune. But she signed it anyway because it's Bad Boy. That was a costly, I'm not trying to tear Babs down, but it was a costly mistake because, oh my God, you're blinded by like the quote unquote glitz and glamour of Bad Boy. I wonder if everybody else's contract was like Day 26 and Donnie Klang. And people be like, where is Donnie Klang at? I follow Donnie Klang on Facebook. Donnie owns a studio in Long Island. He's still in the music business. He owns a studio, he's married, and he has a kid. So he's doing great, but I don't think we'll ever hear from Donnie about what happened with Diddy. Either he doesn't have one, or he just doesn't want to be like in that, I guess, in that type of spotlight, if you will. But that does answer the question, what happened to Donnie. He's still doing music, he's just not in the big spotlight like he used to be. Loved his album, though. I bought his album when I was in middle school. But yeah, Babs signed a bad deal because she was blinded by like who Bad Boy Records was. The Bad Boy Records we would see on TV growing up. Talking shit about Dawn on camera. He walked up to his like Rastafarian looking lawyer and was like, Dawn, she's suing me. Dawn is suing me. The girl, she was on my last album. She's suing me. Well, should have did what you did. She wouldn't be suing you. You think about that? Oh, and I didn't write this down. He went. So there's a part because all this. He's in New York. This is like a week before he goes to jail, gets arrested. He's in New York. He goes out for a night on the town, if you will. He goes to Harlem. And people, first he goes to this like little Jamaican spot or whatever. He's having shots with Jim Jones. Random. Why is he having shots with Jim Jones in Harlem in a Jamaican spot? I don't know. So he's in Harlem. He's walking down the street. And people are shaking his hand. They want to take pictures with him or whatever. He gets in his SUV. He's going back to his hotel probably. And he says, I need hand sanitizer. I heard I need hand sanitizer. I get that because germs, we're living in a post-COVID world, fine. But then I heard he said, I need to burn these clothes. I need peroxide. It ain't that serious, dog. They your fans. But then somebody got on there and said that Diddy is uncomfortable around black people. That shocked me because the Diddy I quote unquote knew growing up, Diddy was, I'm a black man. I'm black. Black. Like he was proud to be black, and he's uncomfortable around black people. So that was a facade too. Oh dang, Diddy, that's messed up. Voter died, being on BT, just representing for the black people. That was you in the early 2000s. That shocked the hell out of me. And I heard somebody say that, and it made sense when they said he wanted to like burn his clothes in peroxide or whatever. Dang, Jesus. I have another question when I watched this documentary, but I had to do some digging to answer this one. So I always thought Diddy had real estate in New York. So I'm sitting here watching this documentary. I'm like, if Diddy is king of New York and New York is home to him and blah, 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 I thought he had an apartment there. Turns out he sold it. So that's why he was staying in a hotel. He used to have an apartment there. He sold it. I had to find that out through like realtor.com, the celebrity real estate edition. And I thought he had a house in Long Island. He sold that too. So he only has his LA house. I don't like the house in LA because I feel like it's not private enough. It's too accessible. And then he has the house in Miami, which is on Star Island, which is a gated community. And that house is beautiful because I saw a video of Drewski. Drewski was doing some sort of, it was an old video from like 2 years ago. And Drewski was like acting like he was just being a house guest from hell for Diddy. And yeah, so I saw like the house and his closet and everything, how everything's set up. It's a beautiful home. So I like that home better than the one in LA. Lil Rod was in the documentary. He told his story about how, he worked with Diddy, but he never got paid. And they shared like the voicemails, and I knew, poor Lil Rod, he was getting BS. Listen, I used to work in the car business, and Diddy was like, just, man, I love you, and blah, 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 and I love your hats. And he was BSing him. I know that for a fact because they used to do that to me in the car business. Now, they didn't do what Diddy did, no, but they didn't want to pay me, and they kind of pulled that card out for the trick, if I said that term right. So he really got BS by Diddy, and I hate that for him so much. Just BSing him. And then Lil Rod told a story about how him, and like I said, that Justin Combs can't be trusted. Diddy and Justin Combs and some other guy went in there. He heard a shot. Dude got shot. And long story short, they never heard from dude again. So it's probably insinuated that he's allegedly no longer on this earth. So, yeah, like, poor Lil Rod, he walked in. He was probably thinking, oh my God, I'm going to work with Diddy, who's one of the biggest stars. And he just got into this situation. I don't know what other word to use, but it's a situation. And I just feel so bad for him. I just feel really bad for him. And he like put a lawsuit against Diddy and everything. So I just felt bad for him. It's a lot. Biggie was paying for his own funeral. Now, growing up, I always thought that Biggie had like a life insurance policy. I don't know why I was thinking that as a kid. But I was like, okay, well, Biggie probably had a life insurance policy. Turns out the truth is that Biggie's estate was built to pay for the funeral. Diddy didn't want to pay. Diddy said, this is going to be the biggest funeral in New York. But he didn't want to pay for it, so he built Biggie's estate. That is disgusting work. Disgusting work, honestly. And that also, like I always preach to y'all when I do these TV show reviews and talk about this weirdness in Hollywood. That's why I tell y'all Hollywood is so weird and scammy and low and just crazy. You don't know, because this is your quote unquote best friend. This is your guy. This is your dude. And your best friend is gone. Did he got enough money? He could have paid for that funeral. Or just dumb. He's just dumb. Just dumb. And like, he got education. He went to Howard University. Just how you go to Howard and you dumb? I don't get that. He kidnapped his assistant, Capricorn Clark, put that poor woman through a lot of trauma, took her to Kid Cudi's house to go do harm to Kid Cudi. Her story, not mine. Just nasty work. And then lastly, he has freak offs every March night. Sick. Just sick. Okay, so here's the thing. I have one last question. Well, and then Janice Combs put out another statement like she did before after Diddy got arrested. My son didn't do it. This documentary. Janice, please. He did that mess. He's in prison. What? I know, I get it. You're a mom defending her son, but no, it's too much. It's too much proof out there that he did it. So, sorry, Janice. Who do we believe? You? My son didn't do anything. Or the proof that's been out there for 30 years. Anyway, I have a question. I have one more question. Will Diddy's situation be like R. Kelly's? What do I mean by that? Y'all remember when Surviving R. Kelly came out? It was like two or three parts. And then shortly after, the second or third, or the last part came out. R. Kelly had to do another trial. R. Kelly got found guilty. R. Kelly is now in prison for 30 years and will not get out until he's 80 years old. Will that be the same situation for Diddy? Now, again, he's got 4 years. He's got 4 years in prison. So, do y'all think, like, after his 4 years, he's about to walk out of prison, and then they're going to say, nope, you got to go to trial for all that stuff you did years ago? I don't know, but, that's a possibility, in my opinion, that can happen, but I don't know, we shall see. And then somebody else said, Keefe D, the guy who was involved in the death of Tupac, he's getting ready to go to trial soon, probably next month or so. So you're going to see how that wraps up. And I think I did too much on Diddy, but that's just, I hope that this is really the end of the Diddy circus. Unless, because if they start like micromanaging Diddy, watching him, everything he does in jail, I'm not going to report it. But this documentary, it was produced by 50 Cent. Now, I swear to y'all, so I first heard of the documentary, right? And I thought, oh, ha, 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 50 Cent, you're being funny, ha, ha, ha. So literally 2 weeks ago, Netflix, the official Netflix YouTube channel, they dropped this preview. It was a picture of Diddy and some audio. So I'm thinking, okay, Netflix is really in on the joke. Ha, 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 ha. The next day, they dropped the actual preview with people, interviews, and all that stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is the real thing. Oh. He wasn't playing. Oh my God. Okay. So, tomorrow's Monday. Let's see what fresh torment for Diddy that, next week will bring. So, that's just my quick review of the, what, I don't know what it's called, the Sean Combs documentary, I'm gonna call it, but that's just my opinion. So moving on from that, let's see, let me just go through what I want to talk about, because oh my gosh, so much kind of don't want to get into. All's Fair. Has anybody been watching All's Fair? I really am enjoying All's Fair. Another reason why I haven't done like a TV review for them is because All's Fair, their storyline is like Law and Order, so they follow like most of their supporting characters come from like different cases and stuff, like women getting divorced and women just going through stuff. Each episode is a story. I think the season finale is tomorrow. I think it's only 9 episodes, so it would have been hard for me to do a review, but it's really good. I just hate that they got bad reviews, because I think whoever's writing the reviews are men. Most of those reviews are written by men, and they just don't understand. But as a woman, if you watch it and you've probably been through what the characters have been through, you would understand. It also has Kim Kardashian in it. She's not bad acting. She's not that bad, I promise you. She plays a lawyer who was married to a younger man, and the younger man cheated and got his mistress, who is played by what's her name? Tiana Taylor, got her pregnant and all that stuff. So that follows her storyline. And then Glenn Close, she's an older lawyer. She's dealing with a dying husband. Niecy Nash, she plays a counsel. She's like a single mom. And then there's what's her name? There's one more actress in there, and she's dealing with like being engaged and stuff. And she's like, in a way, hesitant because she sees like how marriages fall apart all day long. And I guess like that she didn't want that for her. But it's really, really a good show. I just hate that it's getting the hate it is because whoever writes for Variety and stuff, I guess they're men. They don't get it. But I think a woman should have wrote that review because they would probably understand. But I guess, it's got great ratings because it's renewed for season 2 on Hulu. So it's a good show, in my opinion. What else? Oh, the Michael trailer dropped. I can't wait to see that movie. I think I'm going to see that movie like 3 times. I know I am because I'm going to see it with my best friend. And then my boyfriend's a Michael Jackson fan. My mama probably going to want to see it. So it looks really good. So again, it is going to be broken down into 2 parts. So I guess the first part, what we're going to see in April is from the beginning in Gary to probably the bad era. And then probably, because the movie comes out in April, I hope they do like the part 2 in December, because that would be really nice. People are also saying like, with this Netflix Warner Brothers merger, it's going to kind of kill off movie theaters. Granted, I think movie theaters are going to, not, go away completely. They're going to shutter, if that makes sense. They're going to shutter, but they're not going to go away completely. But with this movie, I don't think so. Because, it's not going to be on the streaming sites. It's going to be in the movie theaters. Everybody want to go see Michael. It's going to be like NWA all over again, or Black Panther, whatever. So, but the trailer did drop. Who plays Michael is Jafar Jackson, his nephew. Looks just like him. I know they probably use some prosthetics and wigs and stuff, but still look just like him. Like, I know he's going to do very well. He's going to probably win a lot of awards for this. He's going to do very well. I just know it. I'm just glad the trailer dropped so we can have like an idea of how this movie's going to look, and we love it. We love it. And like people on TikTok say, please don't ruin this movie, because some people, I'm a Michael Jackson fan. I saw that Michael Jackson movie with Flex Alexander one time. Never again, because that was a terrible movie. Flex Alexander is a darker tone man. Why did they paint that man's face white? That didn't make any sense to me. So I hope that I'm sure that movie will be nothing like what we saw with Flex Alexander. So I can't wait to see it. It comes out April 26th. April 26th, and I'm going to go see it at the AMC IMAX. So, and the music's going to be good. It's all going to be good. And then also, what would be really, really nice? Michael's from Gary, Indiana. Gary, Indiana don't have movie theaters. So if people want to go to the movies near Gary, they go next door to Maryville. Maryville's a little bit more mixed. They're probably going to do something special, that AMC in Maryville. I hope they do something special for Michael. That'll be really nice, because it's probably 10 minutes away from Gary. I hope they do, the mayor or something would do something, or the state. Moving on from that, Grand Theft Auto 6 is delayed until November of 2026. I'm mad at it, but I'm not mad at it, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm mad because I just really can't wait to play Grand Theft Auto 6. I love Grand Theft Auto 5. I loved Grand Theft Auto 5 so much. I actually went and bought Grand Theft Auto 5, the Platinum Edition, on the Xbox store. But what I hate is that there's so many bugs in that freaking game. So I'm stuck on I'm gonna play it after I finish editing and stuff, but I'm stuck on a mission where Michael has to go buy clothes because he's gonna do a mission for Lester. And you go to the Urban Outfitters store, I forgot what it's called, and you gotta press a button to browse through some clothes. I can't press the button. can't browse the clothes. So now, because I had an issue with this on a couple other missions, I had to go and basically go get Franklin killed off to pass that part of the mission. But other than that, I love it. And I'm gonna play it right, because when I first played Grand Theft Auto 5 in college, all I did was the story. I did all the missions, and then I just left it alone. I didn't do all the extra freaks and strangers and all that stuff. I didn't do all that. So I'm doing like the triathlons for Michael. I'm doing the freaks and strangers for everybody. Where I am right now in the game, I I'm not to Trevor yet. I think Trevor is probably like around 20% of the game, but I'm not at Trevor yet. But I'm playing it until GTA 6 come out, and the way like I'll be so busy during the week, I don't really get a chance to sit and play Xbox until Sundays. And that's until I go to sleep and I gotta get up early. So I guess I'm okay with that. I'm okay with doing that, but I know like the preview that's out there is going to be really good, and I bet it's probably going to be longer, because the missions in GTA 5 are 69 missions, and then the other stuff like Freaks and Strangers, there's 20 of that, and then random events you got to do that. That's like 5 to get 100%. But I know it's probably going to be like 100 missions, like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, I think, also had 100 missions. Or was that Grand Theft Auto 4? I never played 4, but I do have San Andreas on my Xbox, so I don't remember. But it better be good for us to be waiting this long, in my opinion. So, Toy Story 5, the preview came out. I'm excited about that. Now, I didn't really like Toy Story 4, but I will give Toy Story 5 a chance, because it is going to cover, I guess if I use this word right, the epidemic of toys and children these days. When I was a kid growing up, when a toy was advertised on TV, it caught our attention. Like, we had to have that toy. Shout out to Cartoon Network, Disney Channel, and Nickelodeon. Those were the top 3 channels that was putting on advertisements for toys. Barbie dolls, G.I. Joes, whatever. Like, I saw a Barbie microbus on Cartoon Network once. I wanted it. I got it. Like, kids are not fascinated by toys anymore. Like, they don't want to play with the toy. They don't want to put the toy in their hand. They want to watch other kids on YouTube unbox and play with the toys. And that's what Toy Story 5 is covering, because I saw it was a quick preview. But a tablet is involved. So you know what they're about to get into. You know what they're about to talk about. And I'm glad that, Pixar and them, they making a message of it, basically. So I'm excited. I don't know when it comes out. I think it comes out like 28, 27. It doesn't come out anytime soon, basically. So, let's see. Wendy Williams does not have frontal lobe dementia. Honestly, I could have told y'all that. There was nothing wrong with Wendy. I never thought Wendy had dementia. And the only thing that told me that Wendy didn't have dementia was how she handled that Breakfast Club interview she did over the summer. To me, she sounded clear and coherent, but the reason why, if another person who's not me listened to that interview and be like, oh, this is kind of spotty, because she was under that conservatorship and legally she couldn't say a lot. But I knew she had no dementia, and she's out using platforms and stuff. Like, if you had some sort of dementia or something, like, no, that, like, she would have been very limited on resources. But she went out, she contacted Charlamagne the God, she, things like that. So I knew she didn't have any frontal lobe dementia. She did like a lot of tests and stuff, and I think the last test she did, it wasn't found. So I guess now she can like move on and start the process of getting her life back, and as she should, my opinion. But I'm not going to get into that because, complex. So moving on from that, Kenya Barris is producing a Babyface documentary, and you know what? About time. About time, because I think Babyface does need a documentary. I feel like Babyface has been doing music for 40 years. We don't know a lot about him because he's kind of still mysterious. Like, I know Babyface is from Indianapolis. You know, he was in a band with his brothers, big time producer, married to Tracy Edmonds, and has 3 kids, and blah, blah, blah. But we want to know about his upbringing in Indianapolis. Well, I want to know because he probably discussed it in some old interview from before I was born. I want to know about his upbringing, his dynamic with his brothers, his working relationship with L.A. Reid, how he got to Atlanta, how he met Tracy Edmonds, how the one album in 2001 with the red background and white stars. I want to know all that. So it's nice. And it's Kenya Barris. I like Kenya Barris. So I know it's going to be good. Kenya Barris did like Blackish and Mixish, and he had another show on Netflix. So I'm sure he's going to do very well. And I hope it gets on like Netflix or something. Like, it's very accessible to everybody. Let's see. Chauncey Billups pleads not guilty. Oh, you best believe I'm still walking around here saying Chauncey, because I still don't believe Chauncey Billups did that stuff. I think Chauncey Billups was a fall guy, if you ask me. Chauncey Billups was a fall guy. Like, he had to take blame for something. Because I'm sorry, I just don't see it for Chauncey. I don't see it for Chauncey. But he pleads not guilty. I guess it's going to go to trial and probably some stuff's going to get exposed. But I think he's not guilty because the whole story just sounds so crazy. Like, he's involved with the mob. X-ray poker tables. Huh? Like, Chauncey Billups? But then again, y'all, we don't know these celebrities and basketball players, right? A we shall see moment. We shall see moment. Rory Farrell. Does that name sound familiar to y'all? No? So Rory Farrell is from the Rory and Mal show podcast, whatever it's called. He used to host with Joe Budden, right? The red hair ginger guy. Basically, Rory got in trouble for some anti-black tweets. To summarize, he talked about Beyonce's child. He said some just cringy stuff on Twitter. Back during the days where you could say cringy stuff on Twitter and kind of get away with it, but then you could grow in your career and stuff, and people know how to go back and pull that stuff up. Some of those tweets I did not like, and I unfollowed. Well, I didn't really unfollow him, but I stopped listening to the new Rory and Mal show. I never really liked the new Rory and Mal show anyway, because it was kind of boring. I like Joe Budden's show better. Rory and Mal is kind of boring, but I didn't follow him because it was just some stuff he put on there cringeworthy. I don't have much to say, just I unfollowed him, so I guess there's that. Iyanla Vanzant is returning to TV. I just know some families that need Iyanla Vanzant. So I guess I'm glad she's returning to TV in a way. I just can't. I don't know. She might start yelling at people or something, but some people need Iyanla Vanzant, so I hope she does it for like one season though, one and done. Shouldn't, because I think that's why she left before, is because she was like, it's too stressful. I'm done. Let's see what else. Oh, rest in peace, Jobo from Eddie and Jobo. As y'all know, I'm from Chicago. I grew up listening to B96 in the morning during the times I would get rides to school. If I wasn't riding with my mom, because my mother, she listened to Tom Joyner. But if I was riding with like my auntie or something, my cousin would put on Eddie and Jobo in the morning. And when I was like in middle school, you know, one of my teachers would put on the radio Eddie and Jobo. But then they kind of disappeared when I was in high school, and Jobo moved to Freeport, which is up there by Rockford. Rockford's like an hour and a half away. And then Eddie, he still does radio in Chicago, but Jobo passed away in his home in Freeport a couple weeks ago. So rest in peace, Chicago radio legend. I look up to a lot of radio legends in Chicago. We have a lot of them. We have Tom Joyner. Tom Joyner used to do radio here. And the story was that he used to do radio in Chicago and Dallas. So he would do Dallas in the morning, and then he'll do the afternoon show in Chicago. So he'll get on a plane and do radio here until like maybe 94, when they gave him like a syndicated deal, and he can stay in Dallas and do radio, and it'll be all over the country. So he's my idol. Herb Kent, the Cool Gent, if you don't know who that is, he used to do like weekdays on Saturdays. No, not weekdays, like early morning Saturdays. So the only way I was listening to Herb Kent when I was like older is if I had to go somewhere on a Saturday morning. I used to tell my best friend, if we was up listening to Herb Kent, we had no business being up at Saturday morning in that hour. Herb Kent, Doug Banks. Doug Banks used to do radio in Chicago. It's a lot of them. Nina Chantel, Roxy Diaz used to do radio here for Power 92. Trey the Chocolate Jock, I think he does radio in Dallas now. Crazy Howard McGee, he still does radio here. Just a lot of people I grew up with, just a lot of Chicago legends. Some of them are no longer here. Doug Banks passed away, I think 2015. Herb Kent passed away 2016. So so rest in peace to all of them. It just sucks that they're gone, and I looked up to them. Also, rest in peace to Frank Gehry. He's a famous architect. I'm actually a fan of his work. There's this loft townhouse in Santa Monica, California. And I remember the first time I saw this loft townhouse, I was like probably 14. Keep in mind, 2009, I was 14. Cost of living was just a wee bit cheaper back in the day. It was like probably $800,000. It was on the market. And it was really nice, high ceilings, 4 stories in Santa Monica. Couldn't afford it. But it was designed by Frank Gehry, and he also had other like properties designed by him in LA, just futuristic, modern, really nice. That townhouse I was interested in, it actually sold last year for like $1.9 million. It was like in the heart of Santa Monica, like by like these not art studios, where you do like photo shoots and stuff. Like it was a really, really, really nice place and perfect for anybody, single or young couple, but it's not kid friendly, if you will. So, but he was really, really gifted, really skilled. So rest in peace to him. Joel Santana says kids don't need to learn how to read to open a business. Joel Santana, I have not heard a hit from you since I was 10 years old. And you do need to learn how to read, because if you run a business and if you get an invoice, how the heck do you read it? Did you ever stop to think about that? If you need to order some material for your business, how do you read like the website to order? When you pay the taxes, how do you read the tax bill and the 1099s and how the accountants make out to the W-2 and play? You know what I mean? You do need to read to run a business, whether you want to believe it or not. And he said, oh, there's AI and all that stuff. Yeah, AI can help, but a human has to take responsibility of that. Did we ever stop to think about that? Let's see what else. Candy and Todd are getting a divorce. When I first heard the news, you know what I thought? Mama Joyce was involved in this, because I remember watching OG Real Housewives of Atlanta and how Mama Joyce talks so bad about Todd. She talked about Todd like a dog, honestly. And people in the comments on like the shade room and stuff, they saying stuff like, "Oh, mother knows best," and Mama Joyce was right, and blah blah blah. No, I didn't think Mama Joyce was right. Mama Joyce was jealous and possessive, if you will, over Candy's money. Not over Candy, her money. Never understood that. So, I still believe that Mama Joyce played a part in it until about a couple days ago. It was revealed that Todd was actually talking to other women outside of the marriage. So 50% on Todd, 50% on Mama Joyce, in my opinion. Because if Mama Joyce was just and this is my opinion, if Mama Joyce was just a little nicer to Todd, maybe a little civil, Todd would not have felt the need to go out of his marriage to talk to other women, maybe to find like peace, if you will, in other women who is not his wife. But yeah, Candy, I want to say she's been doing well. I did see a video of her thanking everybody who reached out and all that stuff, and her eyes were just extremely red. So I could tell she was like really crying and upset and stuff. But she's holding on, and I'm proud of her, because divorce and breaking up with somebody, and they were together for like, I want to say they were married for 11 years, together for 13. They were together for a while. It's not simple if you've been with somebody for more than 2 years, in my opinion, and y'all break up, it's gonna be hard. Especially if you're like public figures like them, because with Candy and Todd, they had like spinoffs, hella spinoffs. They had Candy and Todd wedding, Candy and Todd ski trip, Candy and Todd the one with old lady gang, Candy and Todd, just a lot. And then they also had like other production stuff. Like I think they had like a Broadway show, a traveling play, all that stuff. It's just a lot at stake, basically. So I'm gonna keep them in my thoughts. Just keep them in your prayers. It is what it is. Moving on from that, congratulations to Mara Brock-Akil. So if you don't know who that is, Mara Brock-Akil, she created Girlfriends, Moesha, The Game, just some of the most popular Black TV shows we watched, grew up watching, still watch to this day. She won, but she's getting the Norman Lear Award. And if y'all don't know about Norman Lear, he created the biggest Black shows back in like the 70s and 80s. And no, not Black shows, but also like All in the Family and Maude and Good Times, Sanford and Son, and all that stuff. And she deserves it, because like Norman Lear created those shows that are still played on TV to this day. Mara Brock-Akil's work is still being played on TV to this day. Also, The Game was given 3 lives, if you will. It started on the CW, or UPN CW. Then it went to BET. Then it was revived again. It only lasted like a season, but it was revived again for Paramount Plus. So she deserves it. Even I've never heard of no other show really getting 3 lives like that. Probably there is some out there, but I know for a fact it's The Game. So there. And lastly, I read a report that more Americans are going to non-denominational churches. Does not surprise me, because one, non-denominational churches, they look so much fun to be at because you don't really have to dress up. So my mother side of the family, they're Baptist, right? I've been to Baptist church in Chicago. I've been to Baptist church in Mississippi. Either way, for the Baptist church, you got to get up. You got to like dress up. You got to put some thought into it. Like you got to put your stockings on, put your heels on, put your dress on. You got to go dress up. Non-denominational churches, you could show up in jeans and a football hoodie. And there's like not a lot of judgment in non-denominational churches. They make like learning the gospel like fun in a way. I guess fun or more modern. Like if you go to a non-denominational church, a really casual one, And you sit down, and the building's likely big and fancy, and they probably got like a coffee shop in it. And you sit down in the church drinking coffee or whatever. You might look up, your pastor might have on a Dallas Cowboys jersey or something. And that's cool. I don't go to church. I'm not into going to church thing. It's a lot of what I've been through in trauma, but I have nothing against non-denominational churches. I think they're fantastic. They're not, how do I word this, specific, if you will, casual, laid back, cool. You know, you might meet the pastor who likes to watch Game of Thrones or something, because you meet with them like real religious pastors, they don't partake in anything quote unquote worldly. But I know some non-denominational pastors, you could talk to them about this one story in the Bible, or you could talk to them about something you saw in Game of Thrones. Like, you know what I mean? I like those type of pastors, but I guess Americans are going for that casualness, because when you go into them stiff churches and you got to dress up and all that stuff, don't nobody want to deal with all that. And then, you know, there's people at those stiff churches, they judge you and they give you dirty looks for no reason. Nobody has time for that, trust me. So I really do. I mean, I'm not trying to force religion on nobody, but it's just really cool to know that, you know, people are really going for the casual, if you will. They're going for the casual. But that is the end of a new episode of Thompson and stuff. See, I need to get some sleep. I am going to try to squeeze in one more episode, but I'm going to talk to y'all for the new year, and then we're going to start the new year with a bang. So thank y'all for listening. I gotta go. Follow me on social media. Peace. Okay.